Hello, everybody. It's Kholy from Geneva Academy. Patrick Phillips is going to tell us more about the Ukraine war. Okay, it's in its second year now, isn't it?
It is, indeed.
Okay, Patrick, if you listen to the news, Russia is hell bent on recovering the territories that they lost at the end of the Soviet Union. And I think Ukraine is the first step. So, do you think so?
Well, that's definitely the narrative that's gone worldwide. You articulated it well, except the facts show a different story. Ukraine has been in a civil war for ever since 2013.
Okay.
One of the reasons that political violence breaks out is when people don't have the right to participate in the political process. And the Russian-speaking Ukrainian population, especially in those border provinces, after the 2013 coup, felt that they lost the rights to organize politically. We saw persecution of the political parties that advocated for economic integration with Russia, as well as very strange new laws that you'd never seen in modern Ukrainian history, like criminalizing the use of Russian. And so, got rid of the president.
Exactly. So you're saying that Russia has already intervened in a civil war?
Yes, and in fact, the border provinces that are along the border between Ukraine and Russia, they actually asked for Russian help. They asked for Russian intervention. And at first, Russia didn't want to intervene, but a week before the Russian invasion, Ukraine launched a missile into the main town. And another thing you hear is that a lot is the mantra that the Ukrainians should decide the kind of government they want.
Exactly.
But those provinces along the border that are ethnically Russian and Russian-speaking, they're also part of Ukraine. Mm-hmm. According to Ukraine, they're considered part of Ukraine, and they wanted to be allied with Russia. Now they voted actually now to be part of Russia because they're afraid that when Russia leaves, if Russia would leave for some reason, that Ukraine will come in and kill all of them. But because
that's not true.
Well, actually, there's laws now in Ukraine that say that if you collaborate with Russia, you will be executed. And from Ukraine's point of view, that everybody in those border provinces collaborated with Russia because they asked for Russia's intervention. Now, before 2013, those in the border provinces and throughout Ukraine that were ethnically Russian, they had a political voice. They had political parties. After 2013, mm-hmm. they lost the ability to organize politically because it became a criminal offense to be involved in these political parties.
So have you heard about the coup in 2019?
2013, yeah.
2013, exactly. So could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, well, that's when all the problems started. So the United States is very good at making coups, and they only go in with the military as the last resort. They prefer to work with local military, or in this case, in 2013, they went in with billions of dollars and set up new TV stations and new radio stations and new newspapers, all with an anti-Russian message. And they were really able to brainwash the population of Ukraine into there's always been a faction of Ukraine that's neo-Nazi and ultra-nationalistic, but it was always a minority, and it's now become a majority. And they sent the president away, shooting as he left, fleeing for Russia. And the president of Ukraine was actually was from these border provinces. And
so, of course, actually I wonder, and everybody wonders, so how this war ends?
Well, it doesn't end well for Ukraine. Russia now, they say they've achieved their goals and that they've kicked the Ukraine out of these border provinces, but they're still fighting because Ukraine wants to take back these border provinces. So there's a couple ways that it could end. It could end by the political leadership in the United States changing, and next year a president coming in who doesn't want to keep giving billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight this war. It could also end by the disintegration of the political leadership in Ukraine. It's very interesting because the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, has said that they can't have the new elections until the war with Russia is over because they have martial law.
Exactly.
But he's also said that Ukraine will never surrender and is prepared to fight Russia for 100 years. So he's become a dictator. And they've even said that now there's a law saying that anybody who even advocates for a peace process will go to jail. And they depend on billions of dollars from the United States and from the European Central Bank just to keep the lights on and pay the pensions because they are absolutely bankrupt. So
exactly. I guess now the United States is helping them a lot now.
Yes.
So is this a step in the direction of a multipolar world?
Well, yeah, absolutely. At the end of the Cold War in 1989, the United States stayed as the sole superpower, and commentators called it the unipolar moment.
Exactly.
And
a unipolar moment.
Exactly. And there's up until now, there's been no country that's really tested the American unipolarity. But now we're moving in the direction of a multipolar world, not only with Russia asserting its sovereignty, but also with economic unions like the BRIC alliance between China, India, Brazil, Russia, and the move away from the dollar as a world currency. So yeah, you're starting to see other poles of power assert themselves.
Okay, so Patrick, I read part of the book which is called End of History. I know that's not really related to this war. It's related to the war in Iraq. So by Fukuyama. So could you tell us who is Fukuyama and what's Fukuyama's End of History?
Well, yeah, Francis Fukuyama is an American social scientist out of a university in California.
Okay.
And he wrote this book because he argued that at the end of the Cold War, it wasn't only the end of ideologies, but it was actually the end of history as such, with the universalizing of liberal democracy, human rights, free market, and it's really now with this war in Ukraine, it's really, and through other ways, it's showing that his theories aren't really true. There's a lot to criticize with these theories. It only works if you accept that there's not corruption in the United States, like
there is corruption,
massive corruption that would even challenge our idea about the United States being a democracy. So you have to close your eyes to that. But it's also racist in the sense that it's universalizing cultural values that are inherent to Western democracies, but saying that America's idea of democracy has to be accepted by the entire world, whereas there are other political concepts that work in other parts of the world, and as we've seen, many countries reject the idea of American democracy because it comes with bombs and machine guns. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Okay, guys. So that's the end of our video. Thanks for watching.